Once you have finished creating the process within DBX, you might want to schedule the execution of these processes. This way, you don't have to manually run these processes and that you avoid missing the execution at the right time. So, what are the options in automating the execution of these processes within DBX? For example, you wanted to have the relationship tree builder in DBX run early in the morning, so when the users come in, they will be able to see an updated relationship tree. At the same time, you might also want to import new sales contacts into your Goldmine CRM database so that your users will be able to start making those phone calls as soon as they get in the morning. So one option would be to use a task scheduler application, and Microsoft Windows comes with one by default. Usually you need to provide the path and parameter for an application to be executed by the task scheduler. So for example, assuming that we want to execute the auto build trees process here at maybe at 1 a.m., we simply need to come to DBX, right click on that process, and select the option Show Execution Command Line. As you can see, it shows you the path that needs to be provided to your task scheduler. It's also been copied to the clipboard. So we can click OK, and if I go to Notepad here and paste, you have the full path that was shown in the dialog box. So you can just simply paste this information into your task scheduler application. Another option is to make use of a queue. A queue is essentially a container that can contain multiple processes. For a queue, you're not really executing the individual processes. You are executing the queue. So the queue have its own schedule, and when the queue runs, it will take care of executing each of those processes within the queue. So let's take a look at how that works. So let's open up the queue manager and let's create a new queue, and we can call this a nightly job. You click OK, and now we simply want to include a few processes in this queue. So maybe first I'd like to run the auto build trees. So I'll select add to selected process queue, and then I want to import the sales contacts. So I'll just keep on repeating the same steps for the processes that I need to add to the queue, like the following. So now I'm ready to schedule the queue execution. For example, I want this nightly job to run from today till maybe December 31st, and I'd like this to be every 1 o'clock in the morning. And potentially I can make this every October to December regardless of the year by selecting only evaluate month and day. So you can use this schedule to maybe have a nightly job that only runs on the fourth quarter, or maybe only during holiday seasons. Maybe you have certain jobs that should only run on New Year's Eve, or on Thanksgiving, or on any holiday that you are able to provide service or a promotion to your customers. You can also say ignore time. If you're going to use a task scheduler to execute the queue, then this might be the option for you, is to specify ignore time and let the time that the task scheduler be used to decide when this queue needs to be executed. Otherwise, if you're going to use the Windows service, a component of the DBX data management application, then you don't need to ignore time and just specify the time right here and let the service takes care of executing the queue within that specific time. Alternatively, you can have a time interval. This time interval would be something that you would normally use to say you want this to be executed every hour, every 5 minutes, or whatever time interval that you need. Then you just simply specify here, for example, every 100 minutes or 120 minutes. So that would be every 2 hours. Only between October and again, could be December 31st. And it could be every 2 hours because the process that you created simply update your Goldmine data just to keep it up to date. So once you have specified your schedule, you can click on Add, and then you can close. So how are you going to use the queue when you are using a task scheduler? Similar to how you would run a process, you get the command line execution path. Again, notice that instead of a P, we're using a Q for the queue option. This queue happens to have an ID of 4, so it's passing to the runner the parameter q:4. Also, that is available in the clipboard. So I can just simply paste that on my notepad, and you'll see I have the complete path that can be used for the task scheduler.